Okay. Good evening and welcome to another episode of MUGA. I am joined by deflated panel, I'd say. I'm going to go around and introduce the lads regardless. Stevie, thank you for joining us, sir.
You're welcome. It's always my pleasure. Thanks for inviting me on, innit?
Yeah, let's work on our time.
I see a little shade in there, but we're gonna ignore that.
I'm glad you noticed. You're going to work on our time boxes. That's your New Year's resolution going forward, yeah?
Got it, boss.
Aka, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. I've been better. You can probably hear I'm a bit deflated.
Yeah, you're not alone, bro. You're not alone. We'll get into it. Michael, how's it going?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm going to launch a campaign this pod, so I think you can tell from the guy behind me. But like, we got a lot to speak on.
The Arsene Wenger campaign. You mentioned it to me. I couldn't quite get my head around it, but yeah, we'll see what happens. And obviously, I've saved you for last, not for any reason that you'd be surprised at. The face of the 21 and 21 campaign. Timmy, how you doing, bro?
Oh my goodness.
How you doing, bro? You good, yeah?
We're here.
So before we start, just want to give our listeners a reminder just to sign up to the Discord community. For those of you who follow the Twitter account, you would have seen the clips that we've been posting on the account. Yeah, it really pops off in there. It's always good to have you guys in there, joining in the conversation, listening to the chat, and the community just continues to grow. We've currently got the most Discorders on the platform, so it only makes sense for us to continue our reign. Secondly, our Patreon put out quite a few decent Patreon pieces in the last couple of weeks. So we had the Marshall Court of Agenda. I'm sure his name will be coming up today at some point. I did a top 30 episode with Alex Baz and Rob Bruce a couple of weeks ago as well. And we're going to continue to push out the content. Another player who's going to be discussed today will have a Court of Agenda coming up very soon. See, with the main man being out injured, Pogba watch, you guys will have to give me and Seb a few weeks because we're starving for content at the moment. Finally, subscribe to the YouTube. If you're watching this now and you're not subscribed, subscribe, click like. Guys, leave a comment. You're watching the videos, that's great. Give us some comments. Give us something to work with. I like a conversation, a back and forth, you know. But with all that being said, let's get into it. Yesterday, disappointing 1-1 draw with West Brom. I'll start with you, Timmy. What were your thoughts on the lineup, and what were your thoughts on the performance?
Lineup wise, kind of what I expected. I think Greenwood's been in a good run of form. I thought it'd be nice to let him continue. The only thing that he's doing wrong really is not finding the back of the net, but he's had 3 games, his last 3 starts, and he's played really well. So yeah, I would have liked to see him instead of Martial, because what happens when Martial and Cavani both play is that Cavani has to go up front because he can't play anywhere else along the front 3. And if Cavani's playing up front, it means that Martial and Rashford are going to switch roles, and Martial's going to play on the left because he can't play off the right very well. And that kind of like takes a lot away from Rashford in the sense that his best position for me is off the left. So we get Marcus Rashford's best output when he's playing on the left wing. So when I saw the lineup, I mean, like I said, I was gutted about Greenwood, but away at bottom of the league, or second bottom of the league, still should be getting 3 points. Although in my head, I was a little bit skeptical, but them just passing thoughts, and I was just thinking like, nah, come on, man, it's West Brom. Like we shouldn't be losing to them with or without Pogba. Obviously, Pogba, a big miss that annoyed me, but we move McTom and Fred in the middle. Like, I don't know what Donny van der Beek needs to do to get a start, man. I really don't know what a man's got to do to get a start. Pogba's now out injured, and you still can't find space for him. You still persist with Fred and McTominay, even with their deficiencies with regards to keeping possession. Both are just really bad, man. So that annoyed me. But then you got Bruno, you think, okay, we might get something out of Bruno. So I looked at the lineup. I didn't really think too much of it. Like I said, aside from the Greenwood thing, we could be putting out a half first team, half second team, and we should still be beating West Brom. So I still expected us to get the job done, to be honest with you. But I can't hear no one. Oh,
Cool.
shit.
Yeah, no, that's,
Sorry.
that's fine. That's
I
fine.
didn't know that you lot was on mute, bro.
That's cool. Michael, obviously the game started. We've conceded what I feel like was a poor goal. Post game, Harry Maguire, I'm not going to call him the skipper. Harry Maguire has come out to say that we should have got a foul for that. And what were your thoughts on that first goal that we conceded?
It's a poor goal to concede, man. Like, how are you conceding in the first 2 minutes? Like, these men had 5 days to prepare for this game. 5 days. Like, what are you guys preparing? What are you guys discussing? What videos are you watching? You know, Big Sam, he's been doing it. He done it in Bolton in the noughty, so you know his game plan. He's gonna pump the ball into the box. So be ready for that. That's what I thought that was Maguire's game. The whole point is that he was big, he was good at Hull, good at Leicester, because balls come in the box, he gets his head on it, he clears it out. But clearly, the Yang, I think the West Brom striker, was too strong for him. And we're lucky it was only one goal, because he sort of overpowered him and he should have scored a chance. And I think he had another chance. He probably could have scored 3 goals. We're lucky that he's not as good as a striker as other teams have. And we would have lost the game. We probably should have lost the game. I finished watching that game thinking, right, if West Brom had a better striker, we would have lost the game. And that's 180 minutes, because yesterday away from home and at home to them, we've stank. And it's unforgivable. How are you playing West Brom and you're struggling to score goals? I don't know. And Harry Maguire to come out after the game to be making them excuses. Unbelievable. Imagine Roy Keane after a game where you played poorly, begging ref for penalties. Nah, he's never been the skipper, but there's even more reasons to take it off him now.
Agreed. Stevie, we went 1-1 with a lovely finish from Bruno Fernandes, as he usually does. At that point, were you expecting us to take the game in the second half, or what were your thoughts going forward, and what were your thoughts?
Yeah, you're bloody right. I expected us to go and get the 3 points. Come on, man. It's West Brom. They are 13 points away from safety. Do you know how mad that is? Like, that team is trash. As Timmy said, we should have put out a second string team and we should have been able to win. But today I'm gonna have to stick it a bit on Aka, because I was listening a couple of weeks back, and you, Morale, made a very good point in that you were saying when we play, no one actually knows where the goal is coming from. It's just like, boom, surprise, and it appears. And I kind of felt like that in the second half as well. Like, even though we were attacking, even though we had more possession, I never really felt that we were showing clear signs of winning that game. Yeah, we had more possession and more attacking moments, but could we say we done enough to win the game? I think West Brom should have even packed some of the chances away they had in the end. So we were even lucky to get away with a draw. But it just comes back to the point where we don't have attacking phases of play. It's just Bruno and Inshallah, and it's not actually sustainable for us in the future. And I don't know what Ollie and the coaches have to do, but we need some sort of plan B, because it's all good and well. It's not the worst tactic expecting like your top players to come up trumps and pull out surprises all the time, but we can't rely on it every single game. We need some method to the madness.
Listen, I've been saying that for the last few weeks. I feel like you and Aka, who have definitely been kind of singing that song of, listen, the results are coming in, so let the good times roll.
Nah, that's Sebi and Aka, not me and Aka.
Cool. Aka, yeah, as you've said, let the good times roll. Your favorite midfield pairing, McTominay and Fred, were out in full force yesterday. What were your thoughts on their performance?
I don't like Fred. It's not my preferred pairing. It's the pairing that I've accepted because I just know they're going to play every game. I disagree with Timmy because I think the team selection was very poor. We should have rotated. We should have brought Van der Beek in for Fred, because if you look at West Brom after the first 5 minutes, they were literally sitting back, allowing us to have the ball. So there's no need to have McTominay and Fred. McTominay and Van der Beek would have sufficed. I don't get why he's playing Martial and then having to put Rashford out on the right. He's playing people out of position to accommodate an out of form striker at the end of the day. And Mason's playing well. And Mason probably had one of our better chances. The issue for me was I thought we were just very, very slow, off the pace. Like Michael touched upon it. You've got time to prepare for this game. You know what West Brom's game is. You know what Big Sam's about. And we just didn't prepare, do our homework. I think Bailly should have played ahead of Lindelof, just for the mere fact that it's going to be an aerial bombardment. And Maguire's got to take more responsibility as well. Like, it was just a very deflating, poor performance. We really missed Pogba. For me, Pogba's got to play for us to drive us up the field. Because Bruno has to come a lot deeper if Pogba's not playing. And if Bruno's coming deeper, we're not going to score or make as many goals as we normally do. So, yeah, our team selection is really poor. I think this one's with Ole, and the players were just not at the races, which is not good enough.
I thought it was actually one of those games where we could actually play Van der Beek and give him some confidence, because we've got Soceidad in the week as well, and it could have been a chance to get him playing 2 matches, 180 minutes.
Yep.
Soceidad.
Oh, okay, cool. That was a funny pronunciation the first time.
We got Soceidad in the week, so it just would have been an opportunity to get him a quick run of games in quick succession. Pogba's obviously injured, and a way to build up his confidence. And I've been disappointed as much as the next man in terms of what he's shown. But if he had played against Everton, played as a more significant part against West Brom, played against Soceidad, and then maybe played against Soceidad next week, it would have given him some strong minutes, and maybe you would have seen more confidence for him and more attacking play for him. But now he came on 75 minutes, didn't have a chance to do much, and we haven't taken the points, and it's just going to be another knock on his already very low confidence.
Agreed. I think Disu's mentioned it in our chat, and it seems like from Ollie's perspective, it's either Bruno or Van der Beek, and he doesn't play them together. And I think you've been pretty critical of him, Stevie, over the last few weeks. Understand the way he tries to play is not how we play. So he wants very short, linking up with players, getting into half spaces, people finding in between the lines. When the people that you're trying to get you the ball are McTominay and Fred, it's not going to get there. Even Bruno, it's not going to get there. So when he does play, he gets lost. It would have been nice to see Matic, just put him in there for some control. And I would have minded a McTominay plus a Bruno. But you guys know how I feel about Fred. He's not good. He doesn't really bring anything to the team for me. Doesn't bring any control, doesn't create chances, doesn't protect the back line. He presses all right and wins the ball back sometimes, but a lot of the times guys just go past him, and it exposes our back line. So all that being said, it was West Brom. I want to talk about a couple of players. I hate bringing him up because he's done really well this season, or he's done well this season, should I say? Marcus Rashford. Obviously, he's been put out on the right-hand side to accommodate Martial. Don't agree with doing that. You want to put your best players in their best position. It's bound for Martial to play on the right and prove that he deserves a starting berth up top. What are your thoughts on him the last few weeks? Because I think it's 1 goal in 10 Premier League games, and that goal was in the 9-0 against Southampton.
Yeah, I think we've been critical of Martial, and so it's only fair that when Rashford's not playing well, we use the same judgment and critique him as well. I think one of the problems I have with both of them, but Rashford in particular, is he tends to have hot streaks, and then he'll go long stretches where he's out of form, and then he'll have hot streaks again. And I just think for both of those players, Martial and Rashford, it's getting to the point where we need you lot to deliver consistently over a long stretch, the majority of the season almost, because he's been well below his best. And granted, he has been playing on the right, and that doesn't help. But there comes a point where you can't make excuses for his performances, and I don't think playing out right is enough of an excuse. So he needs to come back into form for us, because right now we're literally reliant on Bruno for output, and that can't be the way that the club is run, man.
I understand. I'll play devil's advocate here, and this is the discussion I was having with Akra and Sebi on last week's pod. Don't you feel the way we play doesn't really lead to any consistency from attackers? Because when him and Bruno were kind of doing their double act, I didn't think that was anything particularly to do with the system that Oli had put them in. I just thought it was individual players doing well in individual situations, and this has always been my issue. If that's how you go about every single game, and you're not putting these guys in the best positions to execute, eventually it's going to regress to its mean. So you're going to have periods where he outperforms and everything he does is coming off, and that leads to wins. But then you're also going to have periods where things aren't coming off. And now we're more critical because the things he was doing before and the wins that it was leading to are no longer happening. Don't think we should be relying just on two players to get us results. So again, the finger does go on Martial. Cavani just running around. He would literally just running around on Sunday. He usually gets himself at least one chance. The only opportunity I remember was when I think maybe 20 minutes in, somebody played it to him in the box and he scuffs it. He misses it, which he loves to do. Yeah,
3 games in a row he's done that.
Yeah, he loves to do that. But what are your thoughts on Rash, Timmy, and this difficult period he's going through?
I mean, he's not been at his best, but it's not a thing where I'm worried about his form. He's always doing his best to make things happen. He's getting on the ball a lot. He's running at his man. He's trying. The one thing about Rashford, and I've mentioned it in group chats, I've mentioned it in other conversations with people. One thing with Rashford is his decision making is my only problem when it comes down to Rashford. I think everything else he's top. I think he's been playing very well this season. Like I said, I'm not super concerned about his form. I just think his decision making needs refining. He makes a lot of mistakes in important moments in the game or split moments in the game where he might take an extra dribble when he should pass, or take an extra dribble when he should shoot, or shoot from somewhere that he shouldn't be shooting from. Other than that, like he's our most lively player every single game. He probably gets on the ball the most out of everyone in every single game, bar maybe a Bruno, attacking wise that is anyway. And he's always looking to make things happen. It's not working for him at the moment because, like I said, his decision making isn't the best. But other than that, I'm happy with what I see from Rashford. I'm really happy with what I see from Rashford, and he's making big steps to improve. I can see a distinct difference from the Rashford of last season and the season before. And you know, the switch hasn't flicked yet, but once it does, like, we've got a potential top 3 player in the league in our team. Once that switch flicks, then I've got no worries about him. I think people are just looking for a reason to get on his back. Oh, Rashford's got 1 in 10, and I'll address that, right? And I'll address that, right? Because man are talking about Rashford's got 1 in 10, but listen, he's not our forward. Like, that's not his. He shouldn't be carrying us with goals. Your wide forward is going to go through a patch like this. It's up to your striker, whoever he may be it Cavani, be it Martial. It's up to the striker to then carry your wide forwards in this time of need. And if you can't do that, then it's more so on the striker than it is on the wide forward, because no one's looking at Greenwood's numbers and saying, "No, Greenwood's only got 1 Premier League goal this season." He's playing out wide as well. Like,
yeah, I think obviously that's understandable. Greenwood's 19, but I agree with you. I think we all believe in Greenwood on this pod. We're all big fans of him. We expect him to take that number 9 shirt and kind of run with it for the next decade or so. But the fact is, he's not giving us enough goals. Martial's not giving us enough goals, and Cavani's chipping in where he can. And I think that's where the issue comes for me, where you're relied on. Like, the thing about Bruno's goals are, like, you can't even quantify them. Like, they're either penalties or they're mad finishes out of nowhere. And it's like I said last week, like you mentioned, Stevie, like the goal he got against West Brom, brilliant goal. Where the hell did that come from? And what the hell did he do for the rest of the match? Nothing. That's not football. That is not football. And you can't knock Bruno for that, to be honest with you, because if nothing else is going on, he just got to get it how he lives. You understand what I'm saying? If there's nothing else is happening, they have no instructions from the manager. Like, this is what I want you to do with the ball. When you get it in these particular areas, I want you to look there. I want you to look there. I want you guys to connect this way. I want you guys to build overload. Bruno, I want you to make this run, etc. Then when they get it, they're just going to freestyle. And we know that Bruno's a high risk, high reward player. So you can't really knock him, especially if your strikers, your other attackers aren't really doing anything else to make you think, oh, Bruno, why didn't you give it to Martial? Or Bruno, why didn't you give it to Greenwood? Or why didn't you give it to Cavani? Because they're showing that they're not really doing anything. Like Martial, I hate talking about him so much because it's boring at this point. But he's just out there doing nothing. Nothing.
I think that's it. It was even more of a reason for them to play together yesterday, Bruno and Van der Beek, because with Bruno, and I feel like Van der Beek knows it as well. Like when he plays in place of Bruno, he knows that if he doesn't bag an assist or a goal, and we need one, he's coming off for Bruno. So it's probably working into his head even more, where I thought yesterday was a chance where he could have actually played this safe game, because we have Bruno on the pitch trying to force the agenda, and then Van der Beek would have just been able to keep it ticking with possession. I don't know why Solskjaer is so insistent on the two not being able to play together.
Yeah, he probably had a better DM, and then he could forego one of the DMs and just play them as both as 2-8s.
That's what probably... I think. But against West Brom, come on, man! I can't even name you their two central midfielders.
That's what it should be. But he loves this quartet, and we need to break up that band of Maguire. What was it Zac Efron, Fred, McTom? Them four together. He needs to break that up. We need to break up this band. I swear, I was going to put Simon Cowell as my background because this is a band. These men together, no singles out. No one's streaming their music. Literally, they are so dead. I can't see them going into next season, or I shouldn't have to see them going into next season. And the four of them was 162 million. And here, every time, what do we say we need? Another centre back. Another DM. It's a big problem. And I'd like to say, we scored, obviously, we're the top scorers in the league. We scored 50 goals. Admittedly, 15 of those goals came in 2 games. But we're the top scorers in the league. Obviously, I know we can stick it on. It's so unfortunate that we say Rashford, you only got 1 in 10. What's going on? When obviously he's been one of our better players. And whilst our attacking needs to improve, because I don't think we have a way of playing. Obviously, the man behind me can do something about that. But it's our defense, which is the big issue. We've conceded 31 goals? City have conceded 14 in contrast. And nearly 15? What's that off the top of my head? 15, 16, 17 goals difference? That's where we are. And that's where we are. So the defense needs to improve, as well as we need to find an attacking way of playing.
Yeah, the defense makes me sick. That centre back partnership horrifies me, in all honesty. But it wasn't all doom and gloom last week, guys. So I'm gonna go on to another topic. Our FA Cup win. So we've beaten West Ham 1-0 in extra time. Goal from a goal from Scott McTominay to take us through to the next round of the FA Cup. Where we were in a position where, for me, it was kind of like, FA Cup, don't really mind. Like, whatever happens. We need to focus on the league. I think we need a lift, man, and we just need something tangible to show for Ollie's period. We've drawn Leicester away on the 21st of March. Well, firstly, Aka, I want your thoughts on the performance against West Ham, and secondly, your thoughts. A couple of pods ago, I was kind of like, I don't really care for the cups, but at this point, I need us to see us do something, man.
The game was very hard viewing against West Ham. Really drab affair, goalless for large parts of the game. Really tired performance. I thought West Ham grew into the game actually in the second half. We didn't kill them off in the first half as quickly as we should have. So, we paid the price by going to extra time. But at the end of the day, it's a cup competition and you want to go through. And that's what we've done. Thanks to McTominay, we've got through to progression into the next round. The cup, I think we have to win a trophy this year now, because it's been proven once again. Anytime this team gets close to winning a trophy or in a title race, they buckle. Since we've gone top of the table, I think we've only won 2 out of 7. There's a mentality issue now within the team for me and the management, and they need to put that right. And the only way they can put that right is by getting over the line in any competition. So for me, the FA Cup is the most realistic tournament we're going to win this year. I can't see us win the league now. Europa League, I think there's some very good teams left in. And with what's happening with the neutral venues and the travelling, it's uncertain what's going to happen in Europa. So for me, we have to go out and we have to win the FA Cup this year, because if we don't, that's 4 years without a trophy. And that's just way too long for a club of United stature, investment. And for Man United, it's just not acceptable. And all he needs to win a trophy, so he's got something to go on going into next year.
I'm not gonna lie, Aka. I cannot see us winning the FA Cup. Like, we are such bottle jobs since Ole's come in. Like,
I agree with you. I can't see us winning anything, because, like I said, for me now it's concerning, and it dawned on me yesterday. But when this team comes close to any kind of real pressure, I'm not talking about top 4 or getting saving Ole from the sack. I'm talking about semi-finals. Title races, the way we've buckled after Burnley is concerning. I think that is really, really concerning for me. Okay, we're not going to win the league title, but we should have been in a title race. It shouldn't be like this with 14 games to go. We're going to be almost if they win their game in hand, 10 points behind. That's embarrassing. We were top of the league 7 games ago.
Perennial chokers in that team. Like, we don't really have winners in that starting 11, to be honest, and the lack of experience and just like composure. Like,
what is a winner to you? What's a winner to you?
Getting over the line.
Yeah, someone
Pogba.
Pogba is probably the only one, isn't it?
Pogba is a winner for all his faults and all the criticism he gets. He's the only player that, like I said before on many pods, when the lights are the brightest, that's when Pogba performs. Whereas for me, people like Lindelof, Maguire, Fred, they'll meander along. They'll put in 7 out of 10 good performances. But when the lights are the brightest, Maguire's falling over, rolling around. Lindelof's getting bullied. Fred has just been awful this last 6 weeks. For me, he wasn't that bad last year, and he was okay. He wasn't great at the start of the year, but he's been awful last 6 weeks. And this ties in nicely with my McTominay agenda. If there's anyone that's actually played well in the last few weeks, it's McTominay. And McTominay's got the mentality.
You've controlled.
Did you see the way? Did you see the way he did that?
You guys might not like McTominay, but you can't tell me that he's got a better mentality than the other 3 in the band.
No, he's got a good mentality, but that mentality
he's got United DNA. We talk about United DNA. He is United DNA. Pogba.
The thing is, with our with our current personnel and lineup, I think probably Pogba and maybe Fernandes have probably got the best mentality. But up against like someone like City, who is a better footballing side than you, I never have any confidence in us, in our ability to actually win a result, because up front, I don't think we're clinical enough to take chances when they come, and you're only going to get a few in those high pressure matches. And then defensively, I don't trust anybody in that defense to shut out a team either. So going both ways, I just have no faith in the team when it comes to these pressure cooker moments. And he needs to do something to address that. Like, he's done very well with the man management side of things, but from a psychological perspective, like, there's a big gap between people who go to semi-finals all the time and compete in top 4 versus people who actually pick up trophies.
Okay, interesting. So I've got a thought, and I'm going to ask you, Timmy, and then I'll open it up to the rest. So we talk about the whole, mentality of winning. For me, it's more of a case of Ole not particularly being a good coach, and by the time he gets to these later stages in these competitions, I won't include last year's Europa League semi, because that was a Martial, and it is actually, looking back, it's the start of the Martial we're seeing now. But looking back to all these semi-finals games that we were playing, bar that Europa League game, he's getting out coached. So if the issue is mainly us being out coached, can we really come away from it and say that the players don't have a winning mentality? I'm doing air quotes here, when they're not being put in the best position to win these games. We can question Martial's specifically, how he did against Sevilla, and how he's kind of shown himself this season off the back of a good season for himself. But is it fair to tar the other players with that same brush, Timmy? Can't hear you, bro.
Looking back on the semi-finals we've been in, we've had 2 against City, and we've had 2 against.
We played Chelsea.
One against Chelsea, and 1 against Sevilla. And of them 4 games, like, I think only the Sevilla game I went into thinking we are the better team. That we should be winning that game. So it's easy to talk about Ollie being outcoached. I think I think against City, as well as he's done against City, I just think that City are better. And I think if you bring out a 10 out of 10 Ollie performance and you bring out a 10 out of 10 Pep performance, then Ollie's going to lose more often than not. And I'm not saying that we've been lucky in the times we've beaten City, because in some cases we haven't. But I think you could say that mentality in these situations is quite important, because City's players are there every single season. Every season that Pep's been at the team, they've won something. I think they've won the League Cup like 3 years in a row. They've won the FA Cup, I think, twice since he's been there, or is it once? Whatever. They've won it since he's been there. They've won the league twice since he's been there. So these guys know how to win and know what they need to do to win. United have players that have tasted this success. That Rashford has won the Europa League. Martial has won the Europa League. De Gea's won the league and a Europa League. Pogba's won a Champions League. Pogba's won a World Cup. He's won a Europa League. So we've got players that have tasted success, but they don't taste success or get to this point with enough consistency in comparison to a team like a Man City. So they just know how to navigate themselves through these moments. And it might be a thing, Ollie might just need to learn something new. Like, I don't think you can solely put it down to a lack of, like a lack of coaching on Ollie's behalf. And I don't even want to defend him, but how many managers get to this stage within a year or 2 years of coaching and all of a sudden are just the guy? Pep's the only one, right, who came through the B team and started winning instantly. Other managers, it takes time, and it's something that you learn. You learn to be a winner. You don't just become a winner unless it's in extreme cases like a Pep. So going back to what you were saying, I wouldn't solely put it down to a lack of coaching. I think more so the players weren't good enough on the day, and going forward, if our best players aren't performing as well as they can, like Martial against Sevilla, then it's going to be a lot harder for us to win, because already these 11s that we're meeting in the semi-finals don't have deficiencies that we have. It's very rare that you're going to meet a team that we're better than in a semi-final, or a team that we're more well-rounded than in a semi-final, because at the end of the day, we're still going to have Maguire at centre-back who doesn't know what he's doing. We're still going to have Fred and McTominay in centre midfield who don't know what they're doing. So, yeah, it's more of a personnel thing for me, man.
Fair enough. You make some good points there. So you feel the current the semi-finals probably as good as it gets, and if we want to go further, there needs to be an improvement in personnel and a bit of an improvement from the coach too, I'd say. You make some good points there in terms of Ollie. So I wanted to ask you guys, so the wheels have fallen off a bit again, where a few weeks ago we were talking about going for a title, and I've maintained top 4. We now, I feel, are in a top 4 battle. It's really tight there at the top of the table. West Ham have just won 2-0, or are winning 2-0, should I say. So they'll go to 4th and they'll be on 42 points. But we've got obviously City far and away in the lead. They've got 53 points with a game in hand. We're second, 24 games, 46 points. Leicester are third, 24 games, 46 points. West Ham, all things ending, will be 24 games, 42 points. Got Liverpool behind them, 24 games, 40 points. Chelsea are playing this evening. They've got 23 games, 39 points. So Liverpool potentially finish this evening as low as 6th. Everton have got a couple of games in hand, and they're on 37 points. Villa got a couple of games in hand, they're on 36 points. So it's very, very tight below Manchester City. What are you looking to see from the team over the next few weeks to kind of steady that ship? Because we did say last week, with Pogba out and the replacements coming in, we're going to lose the little control that we did have over football games. So, Aka, what are you looking to see from the team over the next few weeks to kind of steady the ship and get back on track, as it were?
We have to start winning. Simple as that. Like we said, we're unfortunately now into a top 4.
Hello, Aka?
Can you hear me?
Go on. Yeah, I can hear you now. Go on.
We're into a top 4 battle now, so we've got to solidify our top 4 berth and make sure we don't cock this year up and fall out of the top 4, because that will be an almighty capitulation. For me, we just have to get wins on the board. What makes it trickier is that we've got Newcastle next, and then we've got Chelsea. Now, for me, that Chelsea game is big, because if we win that, we open up a gap for me for the rest. West Ham, no offense to them, I think they're going to drop off. I think Leicester won't be able to maintain this run of form that they're on at the minute. For me, Chelsea is the big threat, because they've got a new manager, they've got the quality. They win their game today, they're 4 points behind us. If they beat us, they're 1 point behind us, the way it's going to work out. So that's a big game. After that, we've got City. So we've just got to try. For me, the next 3 games, I want 7 points to solidify top 4 and then push on in the cup competitions and see if we can get a top 4 space and a cup competition. End of the day, you need that perspective. I know it's disappointing that we've dropped out of the title race and we're not going to win it, looks like it. But start of the year, if we came top 3 and won a cup, that was seen as clear progression, and that's still on the table. And we need to make sure we're ruthless and we get over the line. Like, Timmy made a lot of good points, but I mean, just to play devil's advocate, Arsenal last year beat Man City in a semi-final. They beat Chelsea in a final. They tactically outworked both teams and they were clinical. There's no reason why we can't do that. We're a much better team than Arsenal. It's not like what Arteta did was rocket science. He set up the team well. For me, it's you've got the 4 semis, and then you've also got Leipzig was like a cup final, and we got literally outplayed off the park first half, and now this title race. So it's much deeper than the semi-finals. It's any time there's severe pressure on the team, they buckle. For me, it is a personnel issue to an extent. I do think some of these players are just not at the level to get over the line. We need to add quality in key positions, and we need to make sure we get the right personnel in terms of mentality, and that's proven winners and people that can get over the line. For me, this team is 3 positions away from being, genuine title winners or title contenders, and that for me is a solid centre back, a defensive midfielder, and a right winger. For me, these are 3 problem areas, and we keep putting the same individuals in the deep end, and they keep drowning. So we need to get over the line. For me, we need to solidify top 4, win a cup. That has to be the minimum for me now this year, the way the season's gone and the way other teams are.
Top 4.
You make some good points there. Go on. Who just said top 4?
I said top 4.
Who just said top 4?
Me, I said top 4. Like I said, the aim has to be top 4 and win a cup. You want to do that with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? Like, that's what I'm saying. If Man United, if that's what we're doing now, I hope it's not.
But Michael, that was progression. Yeah. At the start of the year, many people did have top 4.
If that's what Man United want to do, if that's the ceiling now, then let's get Arsene Wenger in, because at least he will play good football. He will at least play attractive football, and he can coach.
I was wondering why you jumped in. You literally pivoted the conversation to find a way to add Arsene Wenger into the discussion.
I need to discuss Arsene Wenger. But if that's what we're doing now, I don't know. The Man United I know go for league titles, but clearly that's not the level we're at. Clearly, I don't know why.
I'm gonna say, look, with Ole, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I can't say that he's a 10 out of 10 manager, but what I can say is that since he's taken over, there's been continuous improvement. And to be honest, like, granted the signings we made this season, we got Diallo, Pellistri, who's on loan somewhere, and what's his face, Tellez, who doesn't even start in the side, and a 33, 34-year-old Cavani. At the start of the season, with those signings, everyone thought we were going to be finishing outside the top 4. So for us to be in and around the top in January,
What's the
February.
continued improvement? Please, bro?
But last year on year, we're up on our points tally.
Yeah.
We're playing better football as well. So I'm not saying
Better football.
no,
Wow.
listen,
Wow.
I'm not saying let me
Wow.
land. I'm not saying we are the best team in the league. I'm not even saying we are a good side, but what I'm saying is there's continuous improvement. And sometimes also I think in football, like as fans, we've got to like take it easy a bit. Like this year where we didn't have a preseason and we're playing games like twice a week. So for Oli to install like this tactical magic and this pressing that no one in the league is doing, because other than City, how many good teams are there in this league? Like no one else is playing good football. Nobody is pressing at all, and nobody looks that organized. So I think
Yeah, we don't.
we
I
need
don't
to.
think we necessarily need to. I don't think we necessarily need to press week in, week out. My thing is always going to come down to this: like, I need to see a process of what we're trying to do on the pitch every single game.
But Mariah, our team's not balanced though.
Our points have gone up. Bear in mind we had quite a few injuries last year as well, so our best players have stayed fitter for longer this season. So that's definitely contributed to win. But some games we haven't played well at all, and we've picked up points. And I think of all the games so far that we've dropped points in, only the Everton game would I turn around and say, you know what, I think we deserve to win that game. But I really don't see the progress on the Oli, if I'm being honest with you. I don't see the progress. Like, yeah, we have poor individuals, granted. But we see managers doing things with average players. Like, my thing is, you're able to tell when you've kind of reached the limit with the players that you have, and you now need to get better players in to do the roles these players are struggling to execute. I don't know what he wants from Fred. I don't know what he's trying to get McTominay to do out there. He rides Rashford and plays him 90 minutes every single game, every single week, because Rashford is a player who goes out there and just makes shit happen. He just goes out there and makes shit happen. So it's like, you know what? Rashford has to play every week. Bruno has to play every game because Bruno's going to grab you a goal. He's going to put up a goal and assist. He's going to do something in the game, regardless of what's going on within the game. I'm looking at Oli. I have to look at Oli. To the point where I say, okay, now I see exactly what he's trying to do with this team. I can see exactly where he's trying to take this team. And now he can't take them any further. Yeah, just keep giving him loads of good players and the results will improve. But you can say that about loads of managers.
Yeah, I hear you, but fam, Oli got given this thing on the technicality, innit? Like, we all know that he got given it on the technicality, and it's gonna take a lot longer for someone like him. Like, you don't go from Mulder to Man United. It doesn't happen. It's like going from flipping Grasshopper Zurich to Real Madrid. Do you know what I mean? Like, these things don't happen. It's a 1 in a million. Like, and it has happened, and we have to understand that it's going to take him a lot longer than it will take another manager to implement everything that he needs to implement, and it's going to take him a lot longer to learn. How old is Oli? Is he even 50 yet as well? I'm not even sure that he's 50 yet. Like, he's also a very young manager. Like, he's got a long way to go.
47.
Man. You know what I mean? He's got a long
so
way to go.
Okay, so I got a question. So do you have faith in him being the manager for us long term?
Listen, from where we were when he took over in 2019 to where we are now, like, whether you see it or not, I think that we've come on heaps and bounds, man. I think, like, if you'd have told me 2 years ago that I'd be screaming 21 in 21, I'd have laughed in your face. He's brought in.
I did laugh in your face when you said it.
Oh boy, a lot of people jumped on the wave. Like, they're gonna act like they didn't. You get me?
Yeah, no, Aka was in there as well.
They're on this. Oh, it was Timmy and Seb. It was Timmy and Seb. Like, bro, you lot were feeling fine.
Aka was in there as well.
I never believed it.
Aka
The first time I heard it, I was
Bro, these guys, listen. bro, we record every MUGA, and we'll go back.
You've never seen me say 21,
You were
21.
grinning one time. You were like, remember one pod, Mariah, yeah? And he was like, when we get 21, and then you have to turn up on it. You remember that, yeah? Bro, listen,
I said the operative word has always been if we win.
no. I changed it. You said when. Then when Mariah pulled you up, you was like, if. We'll find it, bro. Listen, the receipts are there, cuz. You get me?
The progression is clear, though, for me. I agree with you, though.
Clear
the progression is there. Like, you can't deny it. Like,
okay, this is what I'm saying. Okay, this is my question for you guys. When you say that, because I've explained to you what I see as progression. So for me, it's an improvement in process, which then leads to results, which then leads to something sustainable that I can see growing year on year. What is the progress that you see in the team from now in comparison? And I'm thinking from my understanding, my process understanding.
Bro,
so I told you this last week.
Improvement in league position, improvement in points, improvement in football, improvement in personnel, improvement in personnel. We were riding with men like Fellaini, Herrera.
No, the improvement in personnel thing. That's not what I'm doing my face for. You said improvement. You said improvement in football. I don't see that.
Oh no, definitely an improvement in football. Definitely an improvement in football. Like we scored more goals last season. We were anyway. I don't want to talk defensively because I'll be flipping thinging myself. But bro, we are just better. We're a lot more well equipped to take on bigger teams now than we were then. We're a lot more well equipped to mount some sort of challenge now than we were then. We are getting a lot deeper in competitions now than we were then, and we are seeing a lot more favorable results against top teams now than we were then.
Are we? I think last season we were, but if you look at our results against the top teams this season,
we said since Oli, right? We said since Oli. Yeah. So then last season counts as that counts. Like you can't.
Yeah, but then what about this season though? What about this season?
This season is regressed. This season is regressed.
Regress is an understatement.
Bro, but what we're saying is from when Oli took over till now, have we improved in these facets of the game? And we have. We've got a better record against the top six now since Oli took over than we did before he took over. And you can add Van Gaal and you can add Marino's tenure. We've got better records and we look a better team. Like I think now better players
but I don't see it. So listen, so if our defense can't defend, our midfield can't protect the defense or consistently create chances, and our attack isn't potent. Like we scored 15 goals in 2 games, and you take away those 2 games, and we have 35 goals in 22 games. We've got the majority of our attackers are struggling. That's only attacker who's able to do anything. We agree it's not because of the position the manager puts him in. It's because of his own improvement and his own endeavor, game in, game out. There's no area of the pitch which we're competent in. There's no area of the pitch. We're so heavily influenced by how our individuals play on a week by week basis.
No style of play.
Which area of the pitch were we competent in before?
That's my thing. I said but I didn't say we've got worse. I said I think we've made no progress. That's how we were when we came in.
We are more competent in these positions now than we were then. We've got a lot more options, bro. We've got more options, bro. If Ollie's not playing the best team, that's on him. We are better in midfield now than we were then. There's no argument about that.
He's right.
We are better defensively. We are better in defense now than we were then.
But how? But we didn't do anything. We didn't do anything then, and we don't do anything now.
Good, and we brought in Wan-Bissaka. We're talking defensively. There you go. Luke Shaw's good, and we brought in Wan-Bissaka. We said defensively. We don't say defensively.
Okay. No, we're not. We're not better defensivly.
Bro,
we still are looking liable to concede the goal.
Okay.
We're looking liable to concede the goal every single game.
Bro, in 2017,
Southampton should have scored.
In 2017-18, how many goals did we even concede in that season? 2017-18, that was Mourinho. In fact, can someone pull up how many goals we conceded when Mourinho got sacked? as in that season? Or if you can't do that, just get me 2017.
No, we were
So
we
the
were
season
terribly
half
defensively.
Mourinho, half Oli.
We were terribly defensively under Mourinho.
What 17? Bro, this is what I'm saying.
We were pretty
Mr.
damn
18,
bad.
19, 19.
Mr. 1-0 is the same as 6-4.
No, we were very
You get
poor.
me?
We've improved. There's still a lot to do, though.
So
but
Wait, hold on,
what are we defensively now?
Hold on. 2017-18.
What are we defensively now?
We've conceded 31 goals so far this season. But 2017-18,
18,
when we
19,
finished
Michael,
second, 19 points behind City, we conceded 28 goals.
no, but
Woo-wee.
then Michael, you've got to account for the difference in David De Gea's form.
Woo.
Because
Now
David
this
De
should
Gea,
come out. I just gave a stat.
18, 19.
Oh, Michael, what the
Right.
difference in David?
Michael, how many goals did Arsenal concede in Wenger's last season?
Let's check. I'll check. I don't mind.
he's about to drop off the stream,
They
bro.
wanted him.
What you
They wanted him out. They wanted him out. Pitchforks.
And obviously,
That last season. Man. That was
a year they
My
sacked
thing
him.
is, we are definitely getting. I definitely think we're getting better. Well, the numbers show we're getting better results. But my thing is, going from like a 3 out of 10 defensively to like a 4 out of or 5 out of 10 defensively, to me, that's not a tangible improvement. When every time I watch the games, I'm not sure we can keep a clean sheet.
You know what? With our defense, though,
regardless of who we play, I'm not sure we can keep a clean sheet. Our midfield doesn't function. It doesn't protect the defense. It doesn't create enough chances for our attackers. And then our attack doesn't function. We don't put our strikers, our attackers in the best position for them to be like, they're talented players. Say whatever you want to say about all of them. They're all talented players and they can excel. I don't see any of that. I see Bruno Fernandes wonder goals. I see Pogba wonder goals. I see Rashford wonder goals. I see penalties. I don't see anything that tells me that this is a team that is progressing on the pitch, apart from people going, oh, we've scored more goals and we're getting better results.
No, but that's
the thing for me. That for me is the fact. But that for me, is when you want to talk. For me, it's like just to finish. Like when you want to make that's like your point. But where's your evidence and explanation that justifies that? I don't see that on the pitch. Personally,
a man said PEE,
you know.
But the thing is, I think defensively we have got better. I think the weakness, and this is why I think it's hard to really fully evaluate Ole, is that we have two clear, glaring gapes in our team, in that we don't have a defensive midfielder, we don't have a right winger, and to be honest, we barely have competent centre back. So I feel like when those issues are addressed, then you can properly say, okay, Ole hasn't got a clue going forward, or defensively, he's not doing the job. But anything we've done defensively to our detriment this season, you can't lay it on Ole, to be honest. There will be clear individual errors.
Okay, so if we don't have any control in midfield, and we know this team is liable in transition, how is the fact that we get into more situations that expose the weaknesses of our centre backs not something we should hold the manager accountable for?
But
like
then
Maguire and Lindelof, like most defenses are okay when things are when go on.
When what?
Go on, CV.
You said most defenses
are
okay when what? Oh no, what I was gonna say is that you've seen him when he's seen that.
Okay. Which one is it? Am I talking? You talking? Who's talking?
No, let me talk now. Let me talk now. You've seen when he's seen the defensive weaknesses against Spurs. We got battered 6-1, and he went and addressed it straight away. He put McFred and Tominay in, and we weren't conceding as much. Since then, the times where we've conceded goals,
that's absolute cap.
No, since then, the time we've conceded goals, they're errors. The majority of them are errors. They're not like due to our defensive shape.
We've conceded 31.
Yeah, but what
24. Mariah, 31
on.
in 24. After he changed it from McFred after the first 3 games of the season, that's 11 goals you need to chalk off. We've then conceded 20 in 21 games. Okay, it's not ideal, but it's not bad. 20 and 21 isn't a bad rate to concede.
21 and 21 is good. 20 and 20. Sorry, say that again.
in a goal a game is not good.
It's not good,
That's
man.
horrible impact.
And my thing is that he's brought them in, but we don't seem so. Shut up, Ellis. My thing is we don't seem solid defensively. Like we brought them in, they don't really protect the back line. That's my issue.
Okay,
like,
Mariah, let me flip it.
We know what Lindelof and Maguire's weaknesses are. The point I was making earlier is that when a defense is well structured, it takes a lot for them to be conceded against. It takes high level play. So we know that our guys are not good when we're outside of a low block. So our goal should be to maintain structure as much as we can. In very rare situations, we're constantly getting exposed, game in, game out. So if you're just telling me that, if we stick in Virgil van Dijk and we stick in Varane, we'll be okay defensively. Well, fucking no fucking surprise. Like obviously we would be better defensively if you stuck in two world-class defenders. But my thing is, until then, because you're not going to pick up a Van Dijk, you're not going to pick up a Varane everywhere and anywhere. What is the manager doing to put his team in the position where they're not getting into those issues as much as they can? What he did last season, and which he hasn't done much, is brought on Matic, and Matic offered a level of protection and stability. Probably ended up relying too much on Matic, so he fell off towards the end of the season. But he puts two bodies there in terms of Fred and McTominay to protect the back four. Does anybody on here genuinely think they do a good job protecting the back four and limiting the amount of chances that the opposition have at getting at our defenders?
But Mariah, my question to you is, what manager is going to do a better job with those 6 or 7 defensive players?
Wow.
Loads, man. Loads.
No. Wow. Okay, name me one. Michael, you're going on as if Wenger would do a better job with those players. Those players are making errors.
I think Wenger's absolute cap. No,
don't say Wenger. Don't say Wenger. Come on, be serious. Be serious.
I think Wenger could. I think Wenger could. I think Wenger will have us playing an attacking system where we will just outscore the other team.
You've actually forgotten what Wenger became.
Did you watch the last few years of Arsenal?
Yeah, no, they were on his neck. But I'm saying he can improve players. He will get Rashford playing to his potential. We were talking about that earlier. He'll get Greenwood playing to his potential. He'll probably revive Martial. Get us playing a system. We ain't got a system. We've been talking about system. We ain't got a system.
It's crazy.
It's great. Well, it's better than what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is doing. And he'll get us.
I'll be honest with you. I'm not sure he'd be better than Ole. I'll be.
Wow. Now I'll rather take Wenger at 71.
I'll be honest with you. They couldn't
bring back Wenger.
If we want top four, couldn't defend.
They couldn't defend. We can't defend either. If you want top four,
listen.
If you want top four, because that's what we're saying now. We're reducing the standards to top 4 and cup runs. That's Arsenal in this game. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but in his last 2 seasons, he didn't do it either.
No, he just
agreed. I don't think
what's Ole done, man? What's Ole done? You
just said you're arguing Wenger.
No, that's his game. Look his whole career. Look his whole career.
But Mike, you're having a howler if this is a serious agenda.
Yeah, you're killing me, brother.
We might get Jose back in. Let's get Jose back in. Look at his whole career.
No, but he already had his time, innit? There's no point going back.
So did Wenger.
No, at Man United.
Honestly, this would have been a bad agenda if you said bring back Sir Alex.
You know what's mad?
Yeah? I'll take Sir Alex. So I'll take Sir Alex right now over.
You know what's mad? Yeah. This is what football does. Like Michael's the smartest person in MUGA. Full stop. Yeah. This is the rubbish that football has him spouting. Bring back Arsene Wenger. Arsenal, yeah. Those last few seasons, yeah. They were freestyling their attack, which is what we do, which I'm not a fan of, and they couldn't defend. So we're just swapping out 1 for 1. Wenger talks a really good game, and he's obviously a student of the game, but it's past him. It's past him by now.
I could definitely watched Wenger on BN Sports this weekend and thought, he needs to be back in the position.
I'll rather Wenger than Ole. That's all I'm saying. Wenger's not the absolute truth, but what I'm saying, he's better than Ole. If top 4 and cup runs are what we want, then bring back Wenger over Ole. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, so I'm well aware that I probably went off there on one. So to bring some balance back, obviously Timmy and Aka, you're both of the opinion, and Stevie as well. You're all three of you of the opinion that Ollie has brought this team forward since he's come in. I don't know where you guys stand on him being the guy to take us back to where we want to be, but yeah, between the three of you, I'm happy to open up the floor for you guys having your last say on Ollie and why he probably he's earned a bit more time.
I think the
Oh no, one at a time. Go on. Aka, then Timmy, then Stevie.
Okay. For me, the key thing is we keep forgetting we had an awful summer transfer window this last summer. So we didn't get any of our first choice targets. We didn't really get any first team players. We got squad players. Yes, Cavani's become a first team player because Martial's been absolute stinking the joint out. If he wasn't stinking the joint out, Cavani would be on the bench. So we have to bear in mind he got Champions League last year and he didn't really get back for me. I don't call that backing. That was just as bad as Mourinho's last window. So I would like to see him get one final window, and I do think 2-3 really good players will transform this team onto the next level, and that's a centre back, a centre mid, and a right winger. Like I said, Sancho brings a bit of balance to the attacking lineup. If you've got Sancho on one wing and Rashford on the other wing, you can play, a style of football, and you've got a threat from both wings. A defensive midfielder makes sure that we don't have to play two there, and we can have an extra body in the middle. A centre back can, in the clutch moments when we need to defend and we need to keep our nerve, we don't have the personnel to do that at the back at the minute. You get a good centre back in. Yeah, I know it's easy to say, oh, you can get a Van Dijk or a Diaz or a Varane in, but that's Man United. We've always had the best players. We've got the money to get the best players. So why shouldn't we be getting one of the better centre backs in the world? For me, Ramos is available in the summer. You guys will probably laugh at it, but he's a winner. He's clutch. He's available on a free. Like I'd take him. You have to take him for that criteria right there. You can't turn your nose up at Ramos. He's as clutch as you get. He's probably the most clutch centre back of our lifetimes, and we're just gonna turn a blind eye to him. So for me, he's gonna get top 4 again, hopefully. Touch wood. And if he wins a trophy, that's progression for me. That was the aim at the start of the season, and we're going to be on course for 75 to 80 points, which is what I wanted at the start of the year. So I can't say we can get rid of him. He hasn't failed yet. He continues to meet his remit, so he should see his contract out.
How about you, Simi?
Yeah, I somewhat agree with Aka, to be honest with you. Not too much more to really put to say, but for me, if a better manager becomes available, then you know my thing. But Poch is gone now, and I don't think there's anyone that's particularly a better fit for the job than him at the moment. So I'll ride with him until there's someone better about, to be honest.
Cool. And Stevie?
Yeah, nothing to add from what those two said.
All right, cool. Let's finish up with some listeners' questions. Quite a lot this week. So bear with me. I'll start at the top and we'll just whiz through these. So the first question comes from Haradams1. I'll direct this one at you, Aka. Does McTominay have a place in the title winning 11?
Yeah, for me, he does. For me, McTominay is going to be starting for the next 2, 3, 4 years. You know what it is? McTominay's like Mason Mount. I'll give you an example. People thought Lampard was picking Mount, and he's getting preferential treatment from Southgate, from Lampard. Tuchel's come in and he's playing Mount the same. It doesn't matter who comes in. McTominay will get a lot of games for United over the next 5 years. He's going to be a focal point of the team going forward. He's improving year on year. That's the facts. The performances back that up. He is a much more polished player than he was under Mourinho, and he's only going to get better. He's playing a position which you don't. How many 23-year-olds do you see bossing that position? I'm not saying that he's bossing it by any stretch of the imagination, but he's improving, and he's going to keep improving. Judge McTominay at 28. We'll come back in 5 years.
I need to judge him now because he's playing now. We judge him at 28.
With McTominay, yeah. With McTominay, I just think.
Oh my God. That is not what ever sprouted on here.
I can't believe you kept a straight face and said that. Gee,
let me just back McTominay a bit. Yeah, I think that question's a bit loaded because it's like, does McTominay have a place in an 11 if United are going for the title? Like, you don't win titles on 11 players. Like, you have a squad.
You have a main 11.
Yeah, you have a squad though, and I think
He didn't
McTominay.
ask squad. He said main 11. That means you're starting 35 games a season, bro.
Nah,
Starting
McTominay
Yeah,
doesn't need.
is he a key player in the type?
He
Right.
can be a
Yeah,
key
he's
player
a key
without
player.
being a
Key player.
starting player. That's my opinion, anyway.
Did I get me?
He can
Get
be a
out,
key player
PV,
without
man.
being
Get
a
out of
star
here, man.
player.
No,
It's
you
simple.
can, but he can't. Bro, Aka, that was a bunch of
All
rubbish.
right, Timmy, listen.
Comparing,
Listen.
Hold on. You just compared McTominay to Mason Mount. Mason Mount can actually play football for one. For two, McTom
Mason
goes
Mount's a really good footballer.
bro. McTom goes
McTominay
on
can play football. I don't know what you guys get. You guys get onto McTominay way too much.
goes on international duty and he can't get in Scotland's midfield free, but he can start in a title-winning Man United team. What are you talking about?
All right, look, let me ask a question. Is Pogba going to stay? Or is he, if Pogba stays, maybe not then. But for me, Pogba's
Bro,
off.
if Pogba doesn't
It's
stay,
irrelevant.
It's not a
irrelevant.
title
No, it's
winning
not.
team.
It's
it's not relevant. Because if Pogba doesn't stay and McTom starts for Man United 35 out of 38 games in a season, we will never win the league.
Yeah,
That's
a
it.
fact, though.
Yeah. Point blank, period. I can't believe you said he's 23. Didn't Roy Keane come to Man United at 23? What are we talking about?
Bro,
What are we
Ronaldo
talking
was
about
at
here?
the top of the world at 23.
Jeez,
at
what are we
Rashford
talking
No.
about?
Centre mid. Centre mid is a hard position to play for. You don't
Roy
see many
Keane,
players.
Roy
Bro,
Centre
Keane,
mid.
how old
Roy
was Pogba when he
Keane,
came United?
Right, they've
How old
unleashed
was-
the
how old
dogs
was
on
Keane when he
Aka,
came to
boy.
United?
Roy Keane. He was
How
like
old was Keane?
23. He came
And
23.
McTominay's 23 now, so judge him from now. Like I'm saying,
Bro,
you'll see
Roy
the next
Keane
5
had
years.
Oh,
great seasons under his belt. What are you talking about?
Man.
You'll see the next 5 years.
Anyway,
Roy Keane got a
Proof's in
move
the
to Man
pudding.
United at 23, the best club in England at 23, because
Come
he
on,
was
mate.
that damn good.
in centre mid, you know.
What do you mean? Like, man
Yeah.
knew what Roy Keane was about when he was 23 years old.
Jeez, man tried to hide
Going.
free. You know?
McTominay's not going anywhere. He's here to stay. He's going to be
Aka
playing.
Okay, I respect that, Aka. That's a nice one back there.
They've
McTominay's not going anywhere. He's here
fed
to stay.
Aka to the
So
dogs
so
today,
basically,
boy.
you're not shut the CF up.
Look,
Because
the
he
point
ain't
I'm making is
Would be a
we're gonna
good
buy
player for West Brom or
a
something,
defensive
man.
midfielder in the summer, hopefully. So who's gonna go out? Fred. McTominay's gonna stay in the first team.
He
Unless,
should be a squad player. I'm not saying that he'll be a squad player,
Bro,
but to
that
say
is
he's
the
a
case.
focal point.
I
but-
That's fine. But if that is the case, we won't win the league then. We won't win the league then.
stranger things have happened, Timmy. Stranger things have happened.
Okay,
That's
cool.
really
So that
true.
one, that question has divided opinion. That question has divided opinion. Nice one, boys. Next question is from C Givens 2307. Our biggest problem on the team is our two centre backs. They cause Fred and Scott both to have to play. What needs to happen to get rid of those two on our back line because they are not Manchester United quality? I'll I'll direct that question to Michael.
Boy, real obviously, it's one on one hand, it's what I want to happen. It's on the other hand, what will likely happen. Obviously, I'll get rid of both. I'll get rid of both. Obviously, Harry Maguire. Like at times he can play all right, but this last few weeks has shown he was brought to clear the ball. Obviously, his game at Leicester, heading the ball out, clearing these lines, doing that stuff. He struggles with that. He's being manhandled by Diang. How are you letting one striker manhandle two central defenders? So for me, Maguire's got to go. And if you try to sell him in the summer, I doubt you'll get 30 million for him. Scary. Lindelof, obviously, he's been all right, but is he a player to take you to the title? That's what I've been saying. What is our ambition? If it's top four, keep them two. If you want to win a title, get rid of them two. And obviously, we had the market for centre backs is scary. Obviously, there's talk about the Sevilla centre back. I can't remember his name now. The young French guy. So yeah. So what? Go out and look for him. But you need to get rid of them two. I don't. In terms of centre backs and centre mids, Man United need to start again. If they're serious, they need to start again. Because them two, they're not good enough. They're not going to win anything. They're not going to win anything for Man United. It's got to be top four.
Cool.
Michael.
Got a question.
Yeah, hit me, Aka. Hit me.
Out of the band, you mentioned that little quartet of the band.
Yeah, that quartet. Yeah.
Who's going to survive the longest and who's going to have
Who's
who's going to win the most trophies?
longest? Look, I don't know about trophies, but Matt Tom should be the only one out of that quartet, that band that we're
That's what I
disbanded.
wanted to hear. Thank
Yeah, but he's a squad player. I never said he wasn't a squad player. He's not a starter. He's not starting for Man United. That's the goddamn truth.
I can see it already. Aka's here to win by any means, man. I've got a question from Ni Ado 98. Why don't some people want Allegri to replace Oli in the summer? Should Calvert-Lewin be considered for the striker position in the summer? Should we use Greenwood as a 9 for the rest of the season? So that's 3 questions there. The first question I'll go to Timmy. Why don't some people want Allegri to replace Oli in the summer? What are your thoughts on potentially replacing Oli with a proven winner in Allegri?
I just don't think he's the right fit for the club, man. That's pretty much it. He doesn't play the way that the fans would want to play football. He is a winner, which is probably what we need, but Jose was a winner as well, and or Jose is a winner as well, and he couldn't do anything with us. The thing with Allegri mainly is the fact that he just doesn't play good football. Like, his football is boring, it's tedious, and we've been through it with Louis van Gaal. We've been through it with Jose Mourinho for large spurts of his tenure as well. And I just don't really want to go through it again, bro. If we're not going to win the league, give me a little bit of excitement. At least Ollie's giving me some excitement, bro. Ollie had me shouting 21 and 21, bro. Because we was winning games, and we were scoring goals, and the football, albeit not coached by him, the football at times was good and very tolerable. So, yeah. I don't think we'd get that with Allegri, so I don't want Allegri.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Timmy. Should Calvert-Lewin be considered for the striker position in the summer? I'll ask you that, Stevie.
Come on, man. Let's not even no.
Why not?
What is a starting striker for United? Nah, he's not got a body of work to prove to me that he can.
Been running around up there for 2 seasons, bro.
Yeah, but Martial hasn't proven himself capable of that spot. You see, with Calvert-Lewin, yeah, he's for me, he's not a bad striker, but he's Everton level, and to me, that's what I've seen from him this season. He's one of those strikers. He went through a purple patch early on in the season, then his form dipped a bit, and now I think he's scored a couple again, but. From the United number 9, I just need like almost bordering on world-class striker. That's what we need. We need someone who's going to be better than Martial. And for me, Calvert-Lewin hasn't proven to me that he can take a club to the next level. So I think he's at the right level. He's a good player, but not a United number 9. Nah, he's well short.
He could definitely get. He could definitely move to a bigger club sooner rather than.
How old is he?
I think he's 23. I
think, in this day and age, yeah, going back to my point, we're too quick to write players off. Like, players improve in their 20s. They go up levels. So I can't see why DCL couldn't come to United and in the next 2-3 years become a really, really top class striker. He's got all the tools.
With Calvert-Lewin is like he's got a few limitations as a player. Like, I think his strong points are the fact that he's super athletic and he's great in the air. But when you talk about getting the ball down and actually playing, which you do also want from your striker, I know like right now we're starving when it comes to goals from Martial and sometimes Cavani. So link-up play isn't as important to us at the moment because we need goals. But there are going to be times when we do need a striker that can link play and bring our midfield into the game, or play it out to the wide forwards, and they can work their magic. And at the moment, one thing about Calvert-Lewin is I say that he doesn't have that. But as for an in-box striker, there's not many better than him in the league right now. There's not many that are going to get on the end of things. There are not many that are as athletic as he is. His movement is top quality. His heading ability is also top quality. And I think maybe we'd have to change the way we play a little bit too much to accommodate him, because like I said, he's not really a football playing forward. That's not to say that he can't do it or he can't improve. I guess that's just the way that Big Dunk had him playing and now Ancelotti has him playing. But man, I think I'd take a chance on Calvert-Lewin, man. He's young, and I like what I've seen from him so far.
Cool. And the final question is: should we use Greenwood number 9 for the rest of the season? I'll give that to you, Aka.
No, for me, I think he's still a bit. He's out. He's up. He's not his usual stuff. Still, he's playing better, but I think his finishing is a bit off at the minute. Not to say it won't come, but I just like him on the right. I think he brings the most balance to the right. For me, if we get him number 9, where in essence, sort of Martial and Cavani are redundant, then for me, well, Martial already is. Then Cavani is even more redundant. I'd keep Greenwood on. It's important he learns the game for me, and physically he's still growing. He's a growing lad, and he needs to learn the game more for me still. So I wouldn't definitely number 9 down the line, but for the next 1 or 2, maybe 3 years, I think he just needs to learn his trade wherever he can get minutes. And right now it seems right wing is the position. Maybe if we go out and get a Sancho or a right winger, then we can try him down the line. That would be quite a good front three then. Rashford, Sancho, Greenwood. It's interchangeable. They can move around. But for right now, I'd keep him on the right.
Okay, cool. Anybody else? Would anyone give Mason a run up top?
Yeah. Might as well now. Because if we're not winning the league this season, then we better give it a very, very good go next season. And so we need to get Greenwood ready for that running. So yeah, I'd start playing him up front from now. Martial, he ain't doing anything for us. And Cavani, while he's doing well, too many times in games, he just if he's not doing anything in the game, he's actually not doing anything in the game. He won't do a damn thing for 90 minutes. So we might as well start training Greenwood, get him ready. And once he's there, I've got no doubts. Remember what I said? I said 18 months. 18 months.
Cavani kills me, man. Yeah. Cavani really just be running around, man.
Doing nothing.
We've got too many players who are just literally running around for 90 minutes. That's literally having no impact on the game. Just clocking up kilometers on their Fitbit, man. Cool. So I've got another question from finally Gawo. Should Oli stay if we get the top 4, even if half the fan base accepted he's not the right manager to win the league for the club? I think we've touched on this on the pod, to be honest. Yeah. Got a question from Theo_Olo2. I'm sure, like everyone, we're tired of this go enjoy it, lads vibe that Oli gives off. What manager would you want to take us to the next level? I won't ask you, Michael. That's open to everybody apart from Michael, basically. What manager do you feel could take us to the next level?
I think it's a tough one. Like, people say Nagelsmann, people say Marco Rose, like the new gen Bundesliga managers. But in all honesty, I haven't watched enough of them for me to put my neck on the line and say that these managers will take us to the next level. I think what they are, though, is they're different from that Ole school of football, which I guess is slightly more down the Mourinho line, where he's more about, I guess, man management than he is tactics. But there was even an article that came out from Nagelsmann today, and I haven't read it fully, but he was talking about too much importance is placed on the tactical side of football and less so on the man management. And I think everybody's just got it stuck in their heads that we need a tactics guru, and I don't know if that's just going to take us to the next level automatically. I think we, as per the previous question, I think we kind of have to let Ole get some proper money in the transfer window, address the deficiencies, and then if he's not doing well enough with those deficiencies addressed, then we sack him and look for someone else. But I don't think there's a ready-made replacement now that Pochettino's gotten to PSG.
Okay, cool. No other suggestions from the panel. All right. No question from HK1487. Right. No one screaming who, brother?
Hassan who?
You say no one screaming who? Hassan who?
He's taken 6 L's on the trot.
Hey, I think Mariah was talking him up.
Hold on. Did anyone? Yeah, he's a good coach. He's a good coach. He's got half. He's a good coach. He's got half his fucking first team. He's got half his first team out. Do I think he's a better coach than Ollie? Yes. Yeah, he's a better coach than Ollie, man. But
What, so you
like
think
Stephen
Ollie-
mentioned,
level, though.
Ollie does have.
For me-
Ollie has the. Is Ollie? Is there a top level coach who's just on a vibes thing? Is there a top level coach who's not shown himself to be adaptable tactically and set up for specific matchups, take advantage of them?
Jesus.
Huh?
Zidane's on the vibes thing.
Real Madrid manager.
Zidane,
What do you say?
vibes.
Zinedine Zidane.
I think he did that. I think he did that in the chat. I think he did that in the Champions League against Bayern Munich, against Pep's Bayern Munich sides.
I think he's more vibe than anything else.
Zidane is
I think he's set up
chairman of vibes.
In his team, bro.
Zidane is chairman of vibes. If
He's
you
vibes.
move Zidane away from that Real Madrid team, he would be pissed.
Yeah, but you're talking about two world class teams. Go on, say that again.
Look, I'll put my neck on the line and tell you Zidane hasn't a clue.
I agree with that.
3 Champions Leagues. You can't. There's no respect in this world.
He's just
No
a
respect
manager
in this
vibe.
world.
He's
There's
just
no
a manager
respect.
vibe. Do you know what he's like?
There's no
Yeah?
respect in this
No,
world. I
no,
give
no,
up.
do you know
Man.
what
You don't
he's like?
respect anyone. You don't respect
He's
anyone,
like
Stevie.
he's like Frank Rijkaard, yeah. When Rijkaard won,
Rijkaard?
when Rijkaard won the Champions League with Barca, it was just vibes. I'm telling you.
Right, God.
That says 72-hour protection, anti-perspirant.
So how do you say Rijkaard's name? How do you say his name?
I don't.
Rijkaard.
Oh, come on, man. You
Rijkaard.
see, yeah, because I've lost respect for him.
What was I gonna say? Yeah, I don't think Zidane was by any stretch of the imagination like a tactical guru, but I've seen him adapt and change things on a game-by-game basis to target certain strengths in his team and take advantage of weaknesses in the opposition.
Just because you said that eloquently,
of course, he had a
Mariah,
world-class team.
doesn't mean I'm going to believe you.
But let me finish. If that's fine, that's fine. But I will say this though, yeah. If the only other manager you can mention, yeah, is a manager who had a team full of world-class footballers, yeah, what do we have then? So if we want to be successful with Ollie, we have to fill in with a team full of world-class players.
That was your question, though. You said who's been successful.
No, yeah, that was my question, but you don't have given me an answer. Now I'm rebuttaling your answer. So if your only answer is Zidane, who you guys said his team was full of world-class players, are you saying that the vibe side, the vibes management only works if your team is clear?
Now, I get you, Mariah, and I take your point. I do think we need someone to give us a bit more going forward, a bit more of an idea or an ideology. However, I don't think we've regressed under Ole, so I'm still asking him to get next season so that he can get his players in, and then we can say, okay, you're in or you're out. Because there's no one for me who's like, yo, we have to get this manager. That ship sailed.
I think, though, Stevie, I think for me, Nagelsmann is going to be one of the best managers in the world. Is he going to win trophies? Yes. Is he going to play attractive football? Yes. For me, it's just a matter of time before he walks into a big job and wins trophies. And for me, I'm split because I feel that if we just watch, we've done it too many times post Fergie. We just watched good managers go into other jobs, and later on we've been like, why didn't we get him? For me, Nagelsmann is the standout candidate, and he is going to win stuff, and he is going to be elite one day. So I mean, if Ole went at the end of the year and we got Nagelsmann, I wouldn't cry. But for me, Ole he's not failed as well. For me, he keeps meeting his remit, so it'd be harsh, and he's going to get more time naturally being a club legend. But for me, Nagelsmann is the outstanding choice. And I wouldn't be sad.
Question for you, Akko, off the back of what you've said. So you said he keeps meeting his remit. And obviously you said at the start of the season, if somebody offered you top 4 or top 3 and a trophy, you'd bite their hand off. But doesn't the context of that remit change within your season, the objective? So if somebody says that you were in the title race and then you've now lost it by drawing with West Brom, losing to Sheffield United, and throwing away a 2-goal lead against Everton at home, aren't those failings that make you question the manager? Because yeah, I agree. For start of the season, he did have certain targets, but then they evolve. Basically, Timmy should have been able to do this 21-21 thing until like April. Like Ollie's got him looking mad in the middle of Feb.
But if the board are going to change the goalpost, then they have to change their investment to match with it. You can't automatically make us title challengers if you're not going to back the team. Like Aka said, we did not invest in any players.
Yeah, but Mariah, who's going to beat us to the title? It's going to be the best manager, probably of this century.
Most resources.
Yeah, he's won 11 games in a row, 16 in all competitions.
I
not
agree.
conceding goals.
I agree.
So you have to look at that as well. We're losing to a very, very good team, and he's without two of his best players. That's how strong the opposition is. Like it's not even a fair fist fight. It's not. City are a much better team, much better run. Like I said, we were never going to do. I always said we're never going to do 21-21 because there's two for me. There was at least two better teams, two better managers, two better systems, two better set of players, and two better run clubs. So for me, it was never a fair fist fight for us to win it this year.
That's true, but is this the hurdle we should have fallen at? Not being able to beat West Brom, not being able to beat Sheffield United, not being able to beat Everton. I don't disagree with the point you've made there. I completely agree, but I don't think where we've fallen off should be ignored. I think it's actually quite disgraceful, if I'm being honest with you.
For me, I touched upon that before. There's a mentality.
I think it's shocking. Like West Brom have gone 8 games conceded. West Brom have gone 8 games conceded a minimum of 2 goals. We looked like we didn't have a clue. We lost to the worst team in the league in Sheffield United, and how we contrived to draw that Everton game, where that was one of the few games for 45 minutes we actually played well. But the formation that they played into our hands. But you lot just to say, oh yeah, but they didn't give him the players. And at the start of the season, if you'd offered us top 4, we would have bitten it off. That's not taking into context the season that we've actually had, the season that we're in. Like Timmy, like Seb said, they never really had the 21-21 thing. Didn't necessarily come for them thinking our team was clear. It was like, this is a season unlike any other. If there was an opportunity for us to sneak in the back door and win this title, when we weren't necessarily the best side, it was this. City have emerged to be a great side. Cool. But the context of how the season's played out, I've got to point fingers, man.
I think you're right to point fingers, and I'm not saying Ole is blameless here, but you look at those last 3 games. So we've just played West Brom. Error from the back. We played Everton.
Stevie, don't do
we
this,
played
man.
Everton.
Don't
Error
do
from
this.
the back again, and then we played Sheffield United. Errors. Like Ole can't keep planning for defensive errors. It's poor from the defensive lineup, and that's nothing to do with coaching. That is just poor defending.
Nah. Poor, man.
I'll go. Our lack of ability to create chances against Sheffield United, poor. Our lack of ability to create chances against West Brom, poor. Our inability to see out the game, poor. Those are poor in-game management. That's poor in-game management from Ollie. It's poor management of the game, of the team. They're going to make errors, but to be honest with you, even when we went 1-0, in my head, I was like, this is West Brom, man. We're going to score at least 2 goals. Like, we don't have anything to be worried about. Our only goal was a wonder strike for Bruno out of nowhere. I can't... Maguire hit the post at the end. The keeper saved it. And Maguire moaning about the penalty. What else did we do in 90 minutes against this West Brom side?
But that's what I'm saying. He's not blameless, but we have to put some of the blame on the players as well.
For me, Mariah, just to go back to your
agreed, but the players got him here in the... My thing is my players got him here. The players that got him here in the first place by playing above, winning them games and playing above their station.
But going back to your original point, how many clubs sack their manager when they get top 4? It's just Chelsea. How many managers do you know that have been sacked when they get top 4 in the last 20 years? Just Chelsea. Sarri's the only one.
How many teams have been more? How many teams have been more successful than Chelsea in the last 10 to 15 years? So these are our standards. We're Manchester United,
that's
man.
What you want to follow. It's risky, though, Mariah, because anytime someone flops, you get rid.
But successful, though. It's worked for them, as Mariah said.
Different. Chelsea's a different football club.
Yeah, but
Michael,
they run differently.
Mariah, Michael, I agree with you. It works for Chelsea. Why does it work for Chelsea? Look at if Ole had the window Lampard had this last summer, we probably would have won the title. I'll stick my neck on the line and say that. If you have a window like they had, the window they had was impressive. They should be way ahead of us right now, but they're not. We're different run clubs. We're different. That's not the United way. We don't go around sacking managers off the back of 4 or 5 bad results. I know.
For me, it's not
I'm not saying Ole's only had 4 or 5 bad results, but my point is, how many managers get sacked, Mariah, getting top 4? It's 10, not even 10%.
Not many. But for me, it depends on what your standards and your expectations are. My thing is,
for me,
the only reason I can understand. Yeah, I guess it's what you see of him. Obviously, you guys see that he can potentially still be the guy, so you want to give him more time to bring more players in, develop as a coach, and
he's a club legend. He's a club legend, so he's not going to get sacked off the back of getting top form, Mariah. Like I just look at it realistically, like it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't. That's why I don't like this club legend bringing guys in like and
it's what it is. What it is,
manager because what
it's going to be the first time. It's going to be the first time post Fergie we've got back-to-back top 4 finishes, and you're talking about him getting sacked. For me, that's
if we get it, that is. If we get top 4, that
he
is.
should do. You know what? If he doesn't get it, he should be sacked. It's that fine. The margins are fine. If he doesn't get top 4, he deserves to be sacked.
Remember, we got top 4 last COVID-19. COVID-19 is the reason we got top 4 last season.
Well, we got it though, didn't we?
Let's see what happens. There's a lot of football to be played because I think we're still. Yeah, we did, but we same way we put everything else in context. We put this in context. A pandemic shut down football for 3 months, and that's the reason why we made it into the chat. That happens once every 100 years. So I don't know. Cool. Next question from Akin or Yak. How limited is McFred? Can we ever challenge for a title with that midfield? No, we've answered that already. Got a question from McGrifty. Should United be taking active steps in finding the director of football? We're back here again, huh?
So I don't even want to get into this one. I'm tired, man.
Okay.
Well, it depends what model they want to play in it. That's it. It depends what model.
From Jordan. Got a question from Jordan Dixon 4071. What type of career trajectory and achievement would you like to see from Rooney before you would seriously consider him as a position for Man United manager or post Oli? Should United
this thing is a poison.
Yeah, I was going to say
it's a poison.
Let me finish. The question's not even finished. Should United permanently avoid the ex-player managerial appointments?
But I really hate this new Pep thing, where you just give managers a job based on no experience just because they had a good club career, and it's happened with Pirlo. It's happened with Frank Lampard as well, and then obviously it's happened with Ole at United. Like managers need to go and earn their stripes. Like do a Gerrard where he's gone to a foreign league and gain some experience and make your mistakes in a non-high pressured environment. We cannot be even talking about Rooney coming back to United yet. No way.
I asked what trajectory he needs to go on.
No, he needs like 6-7 years.
All right, so answer his question then, bro.
Yeah, that's me answering. That's me answering.
He needs trophies. He needs to win stuff.
6-7 years. 6. So what's the actual career trajectory? So what would you like to see him achieve?
I'll be honest. Listen, this whole you need years stuff is bogus to me because I'm looking at Steven Gerrard at Rangers and I'm seeing him do things. I'm seeing him do things for that club that they haven't done in flipping almost 10 years, bro. Maybe even longer. He's about to win the league. He's about to win the league. He's gone unbeaten all season. He's playing one of the best. He's playing one of the best brands of football. He's playing one of the best brands of football in football, period, at the moment. And as a Rangers boss, at lowly Rangers, he's got them competing in Europe right now. Now, I'm not saying that that's good enough for him to become the next Liverpool manager, but that is a great start. If Rooney could do something like that and then build on it with trophies and sustain success, then I don't see why in 2 or 3 years he wouldn't be good enough to be our manager.
No, you can't. I genuinely think it is poor planning and poor management to give a manager like a top 4 job after 3 years of management. Like, you need to make mistakes as a footballer, and you need to be able to make them. Like Gerrard, for all the great work he's done at Rangers, his first 2 seasons were learning curves as well, and he's made those mistakes and he's learned from them, and now he's doing very well at Rangers. But it's a very different environment, and he's been allowed to go and make his mistakes. Whereas with Rooney, it would be a similar trajectory to Lampard, where he's had a little stint at Derby, and then come into a massive job. I don't think it works that simply. Like, I think the best coaches have a lot of experience, and then on the back of that, then they can go to their big club move. I don't think you can earn that from one club, if I'm honest. Certainly not a job that big.
Yeah, that's fair. That makes sense to me. I definitely want to see him succeed with Derby, so leave them in a clearly better position than where he got them in. So I think they were relegation candidates when he took over. So I think maybe his target is staying up safely. I look for him in 2-3 years to maybe put them in the playoffs, trying to get back into the Premier League. If he's able to achieve that, then he'd have to manage a team at the highest level, and I need to see some sustained success. And it's that reaction to getting smashed in the mouth, basically, is what it comes down to. These guys aren't really able to deal with the struggles, and it tends to be that when things go bad, these guys aren't able to right the ship again, basically. So it's good while it's good, but once it goes bad, that's it for them. Personally, I hate when it gets clouded and then it kind of muddles your thoughts. Like, you still got Chelsea fans like saying like, "Oh, we shouldn't have sat Lampard. He deserved more." And it's like, yeah, what he achieved for your club as a player was great, but this is a totally different ball game. And in all honesty, Roman kept him much longer than he's kept other managers because of what he did for Chelsea as a player. And I just don't want us to make the same mistake with Oli. Personally, I don't see it with him. So giving him another year, another 2 years, it's not going to change. My thing is, if a manager has, like, it's very rare you're going to find a manager who has the human side and the tactical side. So you just need to be, like Fergie was, aware of where your strengths are and supplement it with people who are going to bring add value for where your weaknesses are. But you just it feels like it's an old boys club now at United. Fletcher's there, Carrick's there. What's his name? Yeah. The old guy. They're all there, and it's like, okay, what value are you adding? Carrick got the job fresh off playing. Fletcher has no credentials either. McKenna obviously comes with a high reputation from Spurs, but I'm not seeing anything on the pitch to give me any confidence in these guys necessarily. So yeah, give him another window, I guess. He has a good taste in players, and he seems to be able to get rid of the deadwood really well. So give him another summer, let him bring in some players, give him a bit more investment because the team needs more quality all over the pitch. And if I'm saying he's a top 4 manager, yeah, that's it. But I wouldn't give him a new contract. I wouldn't give him a new contract at all. You have to earn that one, Governor. Cool. We got Sociedad on Thursday. Are you looking forward to that one, boys?
Yeah.
Thursday night.
Yeah.
Monday.
Cheer up, man. Cheer up, boys. Cheer up. Come on.
You know what? Football was easier, when you had no expectations.
Yeah, when you're sick, when you're fighting to get into top 4, it's a different knock to when you're actually looking at the top of the table. What was that season where we were like 5th or 6th? It was like win 5th, draw 5th, lose 5th, 5th, 6th.
It was a simpler time, man.
Yeah, Chelsea are winning 2-0 now, so they're going into the they're going into 5th. Liverpool are going down into 6th, and they're just 4 points off us. We've got them coming in the next few weeks. Listen, man, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. We've got to turn some of these big games.
If Everton can do that against City Wednesday or tomorrow, whenever it is, then boy, 21 and 21's back on. But until then,
we have to beat them. We have to beat them.
Yeah, I mean, Everton getting a result would be to stop the bleeding, because City win, that's 10 points.
Nah, well, they won't win, and then we'll beat them, innit? So it'll be 4 points by the time we finish.
Love the passion.
And then if that happens, boy, because a lot of
Keep
people have been moving
keep
up.
the faith, brother.
If that happens, I'll be 21
They're
and
looking
21.
for you.
I know they're looking.
I'll sign up. I'll
You're a
officially
wanted
sign
man
up.
on the
I'll buy a
streets. Dude.
t-shirt and I'll
I
sign
You're
might
a
up.
even
wanted
come
man
on
on the
Discord
streets,
for that
Timmy, man.
one. I might even come on Discord for that one.
They're looking for you on Twitter. They're looking for you on Discord. They're looking for you everywhere, brother. You and Seb. It's not just you. Seb too. Seb is still actually backing it, funnily
Oh.
enough.
So
But nowhere to be seen this week. Love him.
I'm fine.
Lads, always a pleasure. I'll see some of you next week. We'll probably have a couple of Patreon pieces dropping this week, reaction videos to the game against Sociedad and whoever we've got on the weekend. It's all a blur now. Thanks, man. Peace.
Peace.